What's up, guys? It's Looney here, and I'm teaching you how to drift in another episode of the Angle Chaser's Guide, and it's number 3, and I'm going to teach you how to enter different types of ways, and it's going to be fun. I hope. It's fun for me. I had fun doing it. So, the 4 things we're going to learn, start off with this, is clutch kicking, easy, e-brake drifting, easy, feint drifting, a little bit harder, pretty hard I should say, and brake drifting, which is what Takumi would do, because he drifts on mountains. Yeah, brake drifting's kind of cool, even though I wouldn't recommend doing it unless you're on a mountain. So, I decided I'd throw it in anyway. Anyhow, the first one that I'm going to show you is the clutch kick, and you don't see it right now probably. I don't know, I gotta figure out how I'm going to do it in editing. But there's a wheel view, and it's going to be great, and it should help you guys if you don't know what to do with your hands and the hand movements. So that's great because I found my camera, so I got a wheel view now. Sadly, there's no telemetry, so you're still going to have to listen for the throttle control. Yeah, I know, it's a pain in the ass. Still couldn't find any telemetry. But beyond that, I think that I'm good to go with this. A lot of these I probably won't break down, like slow-mo and break them down. I will do the feint drift and maybe the brake drift, because those are a bit more difficult. But I probably won't slow down the clutch kick or the e-brake because they're just really simple, and I don't need to slow them down, I don't think. So, yeah, I'm going to let this play through. This is the clutch kick entry, and then I'm going to let it play through in third person probably, and then we'll move on. So, here you go. Seems easy enough, right? Well, let me go ahead and say this. You don't want to be trying to do a clutch kick entry at 7,000 RPMs. You want to be kind of at a low RPM, probably like 3,000, 4,000 RPMs to do a clutch kick entry. Because if you do it at 7,000, it's not going to work at all. So, well, it depends on the motor. Like, say, you might be able to do it at 7,000 RPMs if your motor revs to 9,000. But, you know, you get the idea. You can't be really high in the revs and still do a clutch kick entry. It's not going to work. So mainly I like to do this because I like to not come out of third gear when I drift. I like to stay in third gear if I can. So a lot of times when entering a hairpin or something, and if I have to scrub a lot of speed, I'll clutch kick, and it'll get the RPMs up, and it'll keep me going around the corner. So I'm going to play through in third person, and then we'll move on to the e-brake entry. Alright, so that's how you clutch kick. Now let's move on to the e-brake. Alright, so I've driven back here and I've turned around because you can see the skid marks over there, and it's, yeah, I used the e-brake to turn around. Does that count? Now I'm going to teach you the e-brake entry. Again, really easy. We're going to go more in depth on the e-brake in probably another episode. Teach you how to use it when following, and when to use it when even leading. So sometimes, you know, you might understeer or something, and you got to get to that e-brake and get the car rearing kick back out. And the e-brake is a big, huge part in drifting. It's a big part. So if you haven't started learning how to get to it at any point in time when you're drifting, no matter how your wheel is rotated, you need to start learning that now. Doing these entries and things, and even just transitioning and things like that. You need to learn how to get to it at all times, because the e-brake is huge when following. Anyway, that's for another episode. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the e-brake entry. Again, really simple, so I don't need to go back and explain it, but you will see my hand movements, and I'm going to just play through. Alright, simple enough. So, I don't think I need to explain that. I mean, it's really easy. It's nothing really to explain. You rip the e-brake, and then you let go, and you drift. just some things you really don't want to do. I didn't demonstrate them because I didn't think I had to. You don't want to hold it too long because that's going to make you spin out or make you go off track. And you don't want to hold it not long enough because then you're just not going to initiate the drift and you're going to straighten up. So let's play through in third person. And then we'll move on to the feint drift, which I will be breaking down and explaining a little bit more thoroughly. Alright, so far we've learned clutch kick and e-brake. Now let's go learn the feint drift. Alright, so the feint drift is probably one of the harder entries. I don't do it a lot, mainly because if you do a feint drift, the car behind you, say you have someone following you, is going to be braking really, really hard because you scrub so much speed when you do a feint entry. So I tend to not do feint entries, and a perfect example of a good place to do a feint entry is coming down the straightaway at Road Atlanta going into the first corner. It's a good place to do it because you scrub a lot of speed, and you need to go into that corner, and you can get a lot of angle. But in FD, they banned the feint drift because it messes up the follow car so much. So I'm going to teach you this, but I don't recommend using it all the time. Maybe when you're alone, just having fun, sure, go ahead. Be going crazy with the feint drifts. Just, I don't recommend doing it when someone's following you. So I'm going to let this play through, and then I'm going to come back, break it down. When I do the breakdowns in this for the slow motion, there probably won't be a wheel view because it'll be a pain in the ass to sync. So I'm going to let's play through now. Alright, so as you guys probably saw, that's a little bit harder. It's not as easy, it's a little bit more technical. So let's back it up. I'll slow it down and explain exactly what I did. It's really not that hard once you get used to it, but again, I don't recommend doing it. Alright, so start here. The first thing I did was turn out of the corner. Turning in would be turning in toward the apex or the rumble strip, and first thing you do is turn out. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to turn out, and the car is going to get a little bit sideways. Make sure you don't turn out too much and get the car too far sideways because you won't be able to bring it back and go the other way which you need to go. So just kind of practice this and make sure you just don't get that rear end out too far, otherwise you'll screw yourself up. Alright, so I don't really do anything. I just get off the gas and the car starts to transition itself. You don't have to turn in more. I mean, I guess you could, but you don't have to. I find it easier just to get off the gas, let the car transition itself, and then get back on the gas to finish the transition. So I'm going to slow this down. It's a lot. This is really slow. As you see, I get on the gas after the car starts to transition, and I get off, and now it's kicked sideways. And at this point, I think I'm just letting the wheel do all the counter steer, and I'm just grab it and go. So the feint entry is really not that hard, but for someone just learning it will be difficult. So I don't recommend actually really trying to learn this until you've got every other entry down. That also goes for the brake drift, which I'm going to teach you after this. So let's just play through in third person so you can kind of see the movements. I'll even go to the left a little bit so you can see the front tire movements, and then we'll move on to the brake drift. Alright, so there's the feint drift. Let's move on to the brake drift. Alright, so far we've learned the clutch kick, the e-brake, and the feint entry. Let's learn the last and final one that I think you really need to know, and it's the brake drift. This is as simple as pushing in the brake, and then it's like... I said that all wrong. It's as simple as pushing in the brake and the gas at the same time, and that's going to let the front end kind of lock up, the rear end's going to kick out a little bit, and then you're just going to get off the brake and carry the drift through the corner. Again, it doesn't sound easy, but it's easier than you think. So I'll just play through in first person, and then we'll move to third person, and I probably will break this one down as well. You guys must think I love these two corners by now. So all I did there was just push in the brake, and the rear end kicked itself out. Now I will say this: to do this, you probably have to have your brake bias more to the front, a lot more to the front. Otherwise, the rear end's not gonna kick out, and you're just gonna lock up and go straight into a wall or into the grass or whatever. So, let's go in car. Let me walk you through this. It's really simple. I don't even think I need to walk you through it. It's just braking gas at the same time with your brake bias to the front. It's really, really simple. I will go ahead and say this: to pull it off in any car, I would recommend a bias to the front of, say, 68-32 to the front with a pressure of 70, and that'll do it. That's what I had on this car, I think, and it did it fine for me. So that's what I would recommend to be able to do this. Maybe if you're on a tight track like a downhill, you would probably want to put more pressure to do that, so it kind of locks up quicker and kicks the rear end out quicker. But for this, it didn't matter. So let us play through, walk you through it. Alright, so right here, I get on the brake and I turn in a little bit, and then I'm off the brake. That went faster than I thought it did. Anyway, I get on the brake and I turn in here, and then I let off and I get on the brake again, and the rear end finally kicks out. From this point, I kind of just walk the car through the corner. It's that simple. Here, I'll let you see it in third person. You can see the front end drop and everything. At least I think you can see the front end drop a little bit. Here, let me do this. Yeah, you saw the front end drop there. Here, let's do it in slow-mo. Shift, shift, and there. Hang on, where's the front end drop? Where's the drop at? I missed it. Yeah, it's in there somewhere. I don't know. I can't even see the front end drop. But really, it's really simple. You don't need to know anything else. It's simple. It's just pushing both in together, and the rear end will kick out if you turn it a little bit. Of course, you got to turn it a little bit. So that's the 4 entries that I think you need to know. If I left out any, put them in the comments. I'll get to them next episode, whatever the next episode might be. I don't care what it is. If I left out a good one, I'll definitely throw it in there. Now these are the 4 main entries that I think everyone will want to know and everyone needs to know. So that's gonna do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, leave a like and a comment. Tell me what you thought, and well, of course, you know, the like or dislike will tell me what you thought, and then you tell me a comment, tell me what you thought. But if you are enjoying this guide and it's helping you, then please be sure to subscribe, and you'll be updated on whenever I upload a video, and especially when I upload one of these videos. And that's gonna do it. So bye, guys.